Hi there. We are going to talk about how to learn organic chemistry successfully. Few tactics. Let's see how things go. This is organic chemistry is a very hard subject to learn and also to get an A plus, right? So let's see what things you should be doing. So the first thing, you have to have an action plan. The moment you know you're going to sign up for a course of organic chemistry, and have an action plan. And also this action plan has few learning stages and some important activities. So if you go here, you can see you have to know the syllabus and the class introduction, and is there a lab associated with it or not, or do you have to take the lab with the course, or can you take it later? So that's an important thing. That's the first thing I would do, right? Once you sign up for the course. And the next step is you have to, the moment you have the class introduction, so never miss that class introduction, get the important dates, put it on a piece of paper, exams, when to withdraw, and what's the professor's special conditions to get a good pass, and those kind of things, and also mark the deadlines on your calendar, right? And then you also have to pay attention a bit more details now. What are the prerequisites for the course? Of course, you know without that you will not be signed up for a course. But if it is Gen Chem, if it is physical chemistry, just revise that. Is it logs? Is it is it pH? Is it using a special calculator? Statistics, whatever it is, right? And then if there's a need to get a model kit, I would take it. And then let's say you need to have a previous knowledge of titrations, just get that knowledge, because your prof thinks you already know this stuff, even though you took it 2 years ago, right? The next thing is be aware of the course objectives. The course objectives can be classified up to the midterm, after the midterm, and so on. Just have a good idea of the course objectives, right? And also know what are the assignments, how you can get marks, full marks for the assignments and the midterms and the finals. And also, are there any alternatives, right? Are there alternatives? That means like if you have 2 midterms or 3 midterms and the professor is going to forget the worst one, then that you should know that very well, okay? Now, the next one is also make sure you use the office hours and never miss a review from the prof or from the TA. So those are the things that you want to know, include in your action plan. Now, next one, still the action plan and learning stages. So in the learning stages, it's kind of really simple thing in a way. So first thing, you want to start with seeing and listening things about the course, about the material. So that's the important thing. I'll go to details. That's like listening to Khan Academy videos, watching videos, kind of things, right? And then also in the lecture, definitely you have to do read and draw, and those kind of things has to be done properly at the lecture, in the lab, right? And then during the lecture, during the lab, also you can understand to a level, and then go home the same night. You have to try to understand what you learned that day. So it's a 30 minutes, 20 minutes time you have to spend. That has to be done. And then every day, pretty much you have to do practice and practice and practice. So that's the important thing. See, draw and draw and draw, practice and practice and practice. Okay, so let's see what's next. The other most important thing in any course, actually, the time management, right? So the time management is very difficult in organic chemistry, because if you're not on the top of the game from the day one, it's going to be really difficult. So, okay, so what's the things? So make sure mark your calendar as important dates, assignment dates, and so on. And then also, when you start learning, you start with very short periods of time. So that means roughly you start with 15 to 30 minutes of commitments in one burst. And then if you're successful within the first 2-3 days, then you move to 30 to 60 minutes, then you move to 60-90 minutes. And I would say the 90 minutes is the max one can take successfully and fruitfully. So that's how you want to break down. So make sure you reward yourself, go for a coffee and take a nap, and reward yourself every time you do a successful learning, right? And then also make sure you take breaks in between. So that's a really, really must do thing. And the other thing, never be late to a lecture. The first 5 minutes of the lecture and the last 5 minutes of the lecture is the most important time. So never miss those two, right? And then also never miss for submitting some assignments or pre-labs or post-lab, something like that. These are easy marks. You never want to miss them, right? Okay. Now, what's the other thing? The supporting materials and actions you should be taking. So the supporting materials are, it's actually individually different. Some kids learn more with pictures and model kits. Some has to write perfect notes, and some has to read it again and again. So there are several different things, but you should know what's the best for you, right? And so what's the interactive stage to learning is first, like I said, listen and see and try to understand and practice, and also teach and test to yourself. Teach to yourself and test to yourself, right? And so that's like doing questions, reading a question and see whether you can answer without looking at the actual answer in the book, right? So the other thing, the cheat sheets, flashcards, flowcharts, tables, whatever the suitable things that you have seen in the lecture professor is using, make sure you make them at home and put it in front of your desk and in your washroom, wherever suitable, right? And also duplicate the practice questions. You have few practice questions, in class questions in the lecture, duplicate them. So the other ones are the other things, the model kits, the whiteboard for your room, maybe some songs and other rhymes that you can hear, mnemonics, right? Those things. And also have a habit of bathroom learning, sort of keep some flashcards. What's the nucleophile? List of nucleophile. Okay. Now, the reach learning objectives by all means. That has to be from the day one. So how do you do that? So I would say, like, the beginning of the study is very good with Khan Academy videos, some YouTube videos, so then go to the lecture, having the key terms, you don't understand everything, just roughly you know what they are and what they look like, and then go to the lecture, listen very carefully. So really strictly follow the professor's scope of teaching and learning, right? And come home and make a master note and look at the past exams as soon as you can. The moment you know the questions, what they look like, then you know how hard to learn and what to learn. And always follow practice questions, right? Read them, do them. So now, the other thing is, always we have this misconception, thinking that I'm going to do very well in the final. This is not true. So what you want to do is you want to do very well in your first midterm. If you do midterm very well, you have a very good chance of walking away with an A+. So if you do not do well in if you mess up the midterm one, that's a very big hole to come out, right? Okay. Now, what is other things? The number 5 is beyond individual learning. So it's not only self-learning, teaching yourself, that you also can do really, really important things, interactive things. So at least if you can, once a week, if you can learn in a group session, find 1 or 2 buddies in your level and just have a discussion, talk about how they learn, where are they, that type of things. Even 1 hour is enough. And the other thing is, there's a good benefit if you can teach somebody. Find a buddy in your class, and some of them struggling to get a C++, something like that, and they are good candidates. Help them, really try to teach them, and when you can, and at least 1 or 2 one session a week, and that would helpful a lot for you to learn. And the other thing is, every week I would, let's say, keep 1 day off completely. Don't study on that day. But weekly review has to be done. Something like Saturday night, Friday night, weekly review, and reflect what you learned, how much you remember now, and how much hard work you have to do more, right? Now, the other thing, people always kind of neglect this on the professor's office hours or TA's office time. You have to do them. So you once in a while, at least, you have to do them, email them, have the contacts with them, right? And that's important. So, and also talk to your prof or listen to your prof. If it is a big 300 kids class, he will tell what's the study tips. Make sure you follow them, right? And then after every midterm, make sure if you can see the answer key, match your answers with the answer key, and anything you did wrong, figure it out. If you can't, email the prof, email the TA.